Hello, this is Chris at TeamGenius, and I'm going to give you an overview of how the TeamGenius evaluation software can be used in a multitude of ways. Now, the whole premise of the software is that you can create an assessment, import your players, have your coaches complete those scores, and then use the results to maybe make a different team placement decision or maybe share feedback reports with your players throughout the season. So with that, the software's been designed so that anyone as an admin can work from top to bottom to build out their assessment first. The idea being that you can have multiple scoring forms because maybe you're evaluating on specific criteria at one specific time of the year, maybe evaluating subjective, quantitative measures. And also, you have that ability to manipulate the weighting of each scoring forms and the criteria within those. Now, as we go through the setup process, most commonly, organizations will create their player pools by age or date of birth and gender. This is so that any player assigned to the 2010 boys could be fairly compared against all of those other players in that same age group. Useful for when the rankings are of importance, particularly when trying to make team placement decisions. As we move through the setup process, organizations have the ability to create multiple evaluation sessions. We see this sometimes where people run multiple days of tryouts or when players attend multiple weeks of training. So we want to maybe evaluate the players in November, December, January, February. So we have a broader picture of how well did that player perform across many different points throughout the year. Now, as we move through this, there's the ability to hide player names if we want to ensure that players are only evaluated by the number assigned to them at check-in. And players can be actually brought into TeamGenius in a variety of different ways, whether that's importing via CSV file after downloading from your registration software. Though if you use Sports Engine or TeamSnap, we can also do a direct import via the integrations that we have there. Organizations that are particularly pressed at the time of tryouts can add players, whether we do that from the mobile app or on the web application, and ensure that that player has the right number, they're assigned to the right group, and also assigned to a subgroup if that's of importance, particularly when maybe you have large amounts of players that try out for a specific age group. Now, once the players are actually assigned, checked in, we can actually say, hey, coaches, please go ahead, download the app, use the mobile app to get scores and comments in for each of those players. Many clubs will actually assign coaches to a specific player pool, send them an invite, and then they can actually complete that assessment on their computer as well as on their mobile phone. The benefit, particularly when doing an in-season or an end-of-season evaluation, is we can also track progress. So you can see Coach Chris has done a lot of what he needs to get done, but Coach Scott hasn't yet started. So we know who we need to speak with before we maybe share those reports later. And then moving on to that, once the scores have actually been collected from your coaches, you're able to filter by which evaluation session, which scoring form. If I want to see who exactly gave Michael a score, we can see that, and any comments that were attributed to that player. And then as we look to maybe use this in the instance of placing players on teams, we can maybe take the data from our 2010 boys, and this might suggest that Michael was one of our better athletes because he's performed consistently throughout multiple evaluation sessions, and maybe we should place him on the gold team. Now, this is just an example of how the software can be used. It's very versatile, from single-day evaluation events, camps, clinics, multiple days of tryouts, multiple evaluations, and also the instance of I want to do an in-season or an end-of-season evaluation and share a report. We have all of that capabilities built into the software, as well as the ability to actually communicate those reports out. Quite often we see people create a template much like this. Congratulations, we're extending you an offer to join the team. And the benefit here is we use placeholders to help speed up that process. No more having to send emails one by one, though of course you still can. But if you do want to send out reports en masse or maybe an invite to join the team, you can do that quickly from here and hopefully save some time on the back end. If this raises any questions before we speak, or you connect with any of my colleagues, please let us know. I hope the video gave you a nice brief overview of some of the capabilities.